Here we go. We're live. Happy Friday, everyone. Financial Fitness Friday with Brad Modrich from Trifecta Credit Solutions. Joining me, as always, my partner in crime, Mr. Jonathan Fodera from Integrated Business Financing. Good morning, bro. How are you?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Just to do a little housekeeping for everyone. If you're just watching us, you're just joining us, every Friday, my name's Brad Modrich. I own a company and part owners of a company called Trifecta Credit Solutions. We are a credit repair company. Again, if you're just watching. And Jonathan Fodera owns a company called Integrated Business Financing. Together, we came up with an idea because we're both kind of fitness guys. We love fitness. And besides getting you physically fit, we want to get you financially fit. We want to make sure that you have some value in how to get your financial pocketbook in good shape. So this is what we've been doing. This is probably, I think we're going on like our 5th or 6th week. It's been going great. People have been loving it. I know I'm constantly getting DMs of people just saying, "Hey, you mentioned this the other Friday." So things are happening, man. People are listening, bro. So I just want to thank you personally in front of everyone for just doing this with me because
dude, I love this.
it's always good to do it with someone, man. So
Yeah, I agree. I love giving back, right?
yeah,
And I think what we talk about is really important, right? We're giving people the little tricks that's taken us a little bit longer to learn. So if you're younger, older, if you start implementing these things, you're going to see big changes in a meaningful way. And
yeah,
that's what this is about, giving back and helping people, right? Because every other state except Florida, they don't go over, any type of finances. Now it's included in Florida, which is, hey, it's awesome.
how about that? That's
That was
awesome.
that was that was a big win, right? Big win. Educate the masses the right way.
Yeah, especially
So
our kids.
100%. Well, my kids are going to start a business. They're going to learn.
Yeah,
They'll probably be bolder quicker than I was, but hey, whatever.
yeah.
So I think what we're going to talk about today isn't really that sexy. I'm just being honest with our audience here,
Yep.
but it's crucial and it's important. And so we're going to talk. We're going to come at this from two ways: for as an individual and as a business owner, right? So I think knowing a budget, setting a budget is super important because one, it will help you steer clear of negative debt. What I mean by negative debt is debt that isn't earning you money, right? Like credit card debt, anything that you don't actually need to buy or you can't afford to buy. That's number one. Number two, we're going to teach you how to, instead of running and being at like a deficit all the time, you want to actually come from an area of abundance. So if you can budget the right way in your business, in your personal life, you can actually move some of that money over into investments on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, which I have done, and I'll show you guys. All right. And that is the key to getting ahead and building wealth. All right. You always want your money to work for you. As Stuman says, don't work for the same dollar twice. All right. So we're going to get into a lot of that stuff. So first, and this is the tedious part, right? I think what you guys everybody should do is put together a little Excel, okay? Or there's tons of apps. I don't know any off the top of my head, so don't comment me, and I can me or Brad can post one, but figure out exactly what you spend each month. Okay, what do you spend on food, on either rent or your mortgage, on gas, on your car, on discretionary income? Discretionary income is stuff that you don't really need, like Starbucks or anything like that.
Can I add
Yeah,
something
of
real quick,
course.
Jonathan? And even if you don't have an app or a spreadsheet and you're not too computer savvy, run down to the store and get yourself a good old notebook. Let's be real. And the only way this works, and I'm speaking from experience, you have to be honest with yourself. Like, the dumb shit that you spend money on, put it down on the paper. Where are you putting your money? Super, super important. I just
Yep.
want to add that.
Yeah, that's very important. So do that, and then you might want to do that as a business too. But if you're a business owner, you should have that in QuickBooks, right? QuickBooks or a bookkeeper, and kind of break that down. Now, after you figure out, let's say, the last 3 months, You want to be super detailed, go back a year, but hey, who's got time for that? So go back 3 months, figure out where you're spending your money, and then also how much are you setting aside in savings and investing, right? And so what you want to do is you want to figure out, hey, if I'm making $10,000 a month, and I know that my fixed costs, the costs I can't do anything about, are 4,000 or 5,000 a month. Well, where's that other five going? And you'll be surprised how you're spending that, right? And it's probably not in the best way. So the next thing you got to do is figure out what you can cut out and how you can reallocate some of that to the stock market, to crypto, to real estate investments, to a retirement account. All right, I think that's super important. And if you're a business owner, there's other ways to do audits. Okay, so as you're going through, figure out where all that money's going, where is it going, and then audit certain things like your payment processing. You might be paying too much. That's something. Come see me if you think you're in that boat. Your marketing. If your marketing isn't working, you should be looking at that every month. What's your ROI on your marketing spend? Okay, this is how you stay healthy as an individual and stay healthy as a business. All right. Were you one of those businesses that were doing a ton of corporate launches and everything else, and now at the end of the month you don't know where everything's stacking up? These are costs that you have to monitor. I'll give you guys a personal example. I just I'm growing. I needed a new office space. All right. And what I decided to do was get into an office. That office is going way over budget at this point because I like things the way I like things. And I know that if I'm going to spend 60, 70, 80 hours a week in that office, I want certain things. So now what do? Well, that's a non-negotiable for me, right? Because I'm going to spend so much time there. So I have to figure out a way so I can help more people. And by me helping more people, I'll increase my revenue and cover the overages there. But that's how you always have to be thinking, right? And then when you get to that budget, now it's time to, all right, where can I invest money, right? And that's how you come from abundance. So, me personally, once I figured out my stuff, I know I put X amount of dollars in different buckets each week. I do it on a weekly basis. I do it automatically, and I'm putting it into markets. I'm putting it into real estate deals. And I can tell you this: when things drop, like the stock market has been dropping, we had the digital assets drop. I was throwing more. Okay, I was very cash poor. I was doing it intentionally because things were on sale. So that is step one for budgeting, and then step two is look for opportunities to grow and build wealth.
Yeah. One thing I learned, I'm going to touch base on two things. So one, and I learned this I heard it a long time ago, but really didn't start implementing it until a few years ago, is when you look at your overall budget, first off, you got to know your numbers. And that's something that is super, super important. Knowing your numbers, knowing your overhead, knowing where how much money you're spending, not only at home, but on your business. You should always know your numbers,
And
especially.
they're separate. They're separate. You have to keep them
Two separate, right?
Yeah.
But know your numbers. But once you figure out, hey, I got X amount for my mortgage, X amount for my utilities, X amount for car insurance, boom, you figure out what that nut is. I put on top of everything is, what am I paying myself? Like, I pay myself first. Like, I'm the first bill that gets paid. Like, I want to put 15 grand a month or X, whatever amount of money, I'm going to put that away every month first. Then everything else gets paid. And you're going to notice when you do this, when it starts to get down to some of those ancillary things that you're spending money on, you kind of, if this is your goal and you want to save X amount and let that compound over time and do something with it, and you're disciplined with it, like you don't touch it, the no touchy account, everything else will follow suit. And you're going to notice then, hey, even if you are coming up short and you can't go out to the movies and you can't go get that new pair of Jordans or, that new shirt, or you can't go golf on the weekend with your buddies, whatever that is, you got to remember that goal and what you're saving for is the priority. Everything else is background noise. That was the one thing I learned a long time ago.
That's smart.
That's
And
one.
you're speaking as a business owner, not as an individual. Pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first.
Yes.
Well, that was on my personal. I started
Okay.
doing it.
Got
Then
it.
on the business now, one thing, and I heard you say you should get QuickBooks, and you said it as like, you should have QuickBooks. Here, and you got to remember, I'm on year 3 of entrepreneurship. Our first like year and a half to 2 years, it was money comes in, pay the bills, excess is left in the bank account. I didn't know. I heard of QuickBooks. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, now I've learned so much. I have QuickBooks where I can go in and I could hit a P&L and I could see exactly what's going to utilities, what's going this, what's going to marketing, what's going to that. And now I got strength because now I really know my numbers. So first off, if you're just managing your business through your checkbook, major, 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 major error. Feel free to reach out to myself or Jonathan. We'll get you the tools to get you dialed in, right? With the right people, whether you're using an accounting service, using QuickBooks. There's so many different things out there, but you should be plugging everything in so you can get an itemized report on your business. Like that's elementary, basic business 101.
But many don't do that. So
yeah, they
don't feel bad, guys. If we're saying stuff here, you're like, wow, I've been messing up. That's why we're saying it.
Yeah. It's here. This is here to help you, right? Because we've done it.
We've stepped in that dog pile
many a times. And just to talk about it, like when you start QuickBooks, even for me, like it was such a foreign language. And listen, I'm transparent as transparent can be. It takes me a while to learn things. Like, I mean, for me to really learn something, I got to sit there and like slow motion read, make sure I understand. So some of this stuff may feel foreign to you. This is going to be the pain, right? There's a pain in learning this stuff and going through the actual due diligence of it. I just want to talk about it because this is usually where people just fucking quit and they stop, right? It becomes painful. They don't want to do it. They don't want to go through the actual time that it takes to do this work because it's painful.
Yep.
Do it. I promise you, it's not going to kill you. Right. But then like now I can go into QuickBooks. I know how to navigate it. I know how to pull reports. I know how to put everything in the right buckets. Like I feel good as a business owner. Like, man, I'm handling my shit. Right. And you will too. I promise you.
100%.
So know your numbers.
Know your numbers.
Know your numbers. Get on a budget. Super important part of business in your personal life and in your business life. And then once you get on that budget, let's just talk about the business for a second. And you see like, hey, I don't need to spend this and I'm spending extra on that. And you start trimming some of that fat. And then all of a sudden you're just like, man, I have an extra amount of income. Let's just say you're making, I'm just using round numbers. Let's just say you're making an extra $2,000 a month because you trimmed some of that fat. But for your next level, you need to purchase something that's like, let's just say $100,000. This is where if you have an extra $2,000, you contact Jonathan, he can get you a business loan, buy that new product that you need to help scale to create more revenue. You already know you could pay that loan off because you got the extra $2,000 allocated because you trimmed the fat, because you knew your numbers. This is putting the pen to paper kind of stuff.
Yeah. And guys, one of the biggest things that I go over when people apply is, all right, you're going to get this new piece of machinery. Well, how much more business are you going to do? How much more income is it going to bring in? And then the reason I ask that question, guys, is because I don't want to put anybody in a bad spot. I need to know if this thing is bringing in, let's say, $20,000 a month, and the payment's going to be $3,000 a month. Well, guess what? That is a massive win, right? However, if it was only going to bring in $1,000 a month, and the payment's $3,000 a month, hey, Brad, we might want to pump the brakes here. You're going to be operating at a deficit for the next 3 years unless this machine really pays off, right? So without knowing your numbers, it's very hard to assess that situation. All right. And there's always ways to review things. Like we review people's stuff all the time. When someone applies with us, we want to see everything that they're doing because we want to see if they're paying too much or paying processing. If they're doing like, we want to see how we can make the business better, not just through financing. Right. And the only way to do that is if you know your numbers. And that's why this is so important. And what that does is, as a business, as you're more profitable, okay, it's much easier to expand. Now, I wouldn't tell you to expand with cash because honestly, cash is very important to a business. It's a lifeblood of a business. But you want to know your numbers and be able to trim, like Brad was saying, some of that fat. So expansion is easier and smoother and you can expand faster. The other thing I would tell you is, as a business owner, don't try to change everything overnight. You need to be able to implement things, measure, make sure it works before you move on to the next thing. Because when you do a lot of changes, right, at once, let's say two of them are working out great, but one is a bomb. If that one that's a bomb is dragging the business down more than the two changes that were helping it, it's hard to measure that. Okay, so you have to do this strategically. You can't shift and alter a business overnight and change 5 different variables.
Yeah. Super important part. Just like when you're sick and you start throwing a bunch of medicine, you don't know what's working. You don't know which one's going to work, right? So you gotta really understand what moving which gear is going to generate the response that you want. Great stuff today, Jonathan.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah, this was definitely a good one. Listen, if anybody, just so you know, if there's any credit repair issues that you have, and real quick, Jonathan, just so you know, Dave, myself, Mike, and Tara are working on a business building credit profile. So this is in the works. So all of you business owners that have been reaching out that are asking, hey, what can we do to build your business credit? Trifecta Credit Solutions is coming up with this program. Stay tuned. We should have something here campaigned in about 30 to 60 days. We're just making sure that the product that we bring to market is worth the Trifecta name. So just stay tuned on that. But personal credit, if you need help, please reach out to us, www.trifectacreditsolutions.com. If anyone in terms of business financing, anything that you need help to help scale your business, Jonathan is the guy. He can be reached at www.integratedbusinessfinancing.com. Check us out on our social media, Brad Modrich, Jonathan Fodera, on everything, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. All of our socials are simply our names, and I have it here in the heading. Yeah, man. And until next Friday.
Yeah, bro.
Stay true. Great job, Jonathan.
Nice, guys.
And we will see you all next week. Appreciate everyone. As always, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Stay healthy, stay fit, and make sure you get your money right. Know your numbers. Peace.
Yeah.